Today is a very special day because the subject of today is the light. We could be speaking about the light a lot of time, but one of my attempts is to try to provoke you, students or young architects, to think about how the light is one of the central questions in architecture. Some people, they say, "Oh, Mr. Campo Baeza, you are the architect of the light." And I always respond, the light is a central question not only for me, but for every architect. Maybe because the light is free, we can take in a free way. It is because some architects forget the light is a central question. Light is some material like stone. You remember, like me, when you were children, you studied or read about Isaac Newton. Newton studied the corpuscular theory about the light. Light like corpuscular material. And for us, for architects, we can consider light like a stone. The stone is clear that it's a material, it's a material that always the architecture through the history used the stone. But in the same way, in the history of the architecture, light was always, from the first moment, integrated among the ingredients to create architecture. Galileo Galilei, he said, using Italian words, "Eppur si muove." And it's the light is in movement. It's a material. If a stone is a quiet and heavy material, light is light and is always in movement. You cannot stop the sun. Only in the Holy Bible, some character was capable to stop the sun, but we cannot. And before Galileo, people thought that the sun was moving around the earth, and Galileo demonstrated that was the earth moving around the sun. But always this light is in movement. Light for architecture is like air in the music. If you think about music, music is air in movement, because instruments with strings are putting air in vibration, or wind instruments and string instruments. In the same way, for the music, air is a central question. Architecture is the same. If you consider, because we are speaking about music, a piece of architecture, a building, is like an instrument, and when it's trespassed, not by the air, but the light, and it sounds. It sounds. A very good French writer, he said that some buildings are mute, some buildings are speaking, and some buildings are singing. The best architecture, in the best architecture, the sound is perfect. It's like the musical instrument is trespassed by the air, and the miracle is produced. A building trespassed by the light, but in the same way that the musical instruments can be tuned, can be constructed in a very precise way. It needs precision. Architecture is not something diffuse, vague, and so on. No, no, no. It's very precise. In the Spanish systems so long to study architecture, it was necessary to study before 3 years of exact science, the mathematics. And an architect must control mathematics. Mathematics because the architecture is something very, very, very precise, like music. One of my last pieces built buildings is a tomb in Venice. And this tomb is very simple. It's 3 by 3 by 3 meters. It's a cube in concrete. The walls are in concrete, and it's an exercise of light, carved in every corner in such a way that the light is capable to enter in every moment. The light has a way to enter in the tomb. The interior space is dark, but when the light enters, in the center of this cubical space is hung a cube, very small, in white marble. This marble is marble from Tassos. It's a Greek marble, very pure, and capable to receive, when it's receiving the light directly, it is a fantastic moment, like a miracle. And to underline the effect, I put a cross with golden material, in such a way that the interior very dark, but with the open in every one of the 6 walls composing the cube. Open the corner, the light is always entering. In a way that I define it like isotropic. Isotropic space is a space capable to be read in every direction in the same way. It's like if you were in the interior and you were floating, and you can receive the light from every corner. Isotropic. Isotropia is the quality of a space capable to be read in the same way like a floating piece. But some years before, when I was creating and building the bank in Granada, the bank in Granada is an exercise, one more time, an exercise of light in a big dimension. If the tomb was in a small dimension, the bank in Granada is a big dimension. At the beginning, in my design, when I won the award in this international competition to make this bank, I had the ceiling, the roof, with a concrete structure frame with beams crossed, creating a frame 3 by 3 meters, like the tomb, and 3 meters deep also. When finally we continue the project, I said, okay, in 3 by 3 by 3, the sun is only entering when, on the ceiling, is only entering when it's completely vertical. It's impossible to cross this frame. And it is because I decide to open the frame to 6 by 6 by 3 meters deep. I conserve the 3 meters deep because it was necessary to support this ceiling, this roof, and but I open in the horizontal way the frame in 6 by 6, and after also I only open the squares over the south, where the south is entering, because in the corner, the north corner, was not necessary. And maybe I am speaking about light, but I would like here to underline for students to remember that a project is a continuous exercise of analysis. You are analyzing. You are not, you can decide the first day the general lines, but after details are not only resolving details of construction, but you can continue change because you continue analyzing. It is because sometimes I am defending, I wrote many times that to design, to make a project is like to investigate. It's a true labor of investigation. When we speak about to investigate, to search, to research, immediately we think in an old man with a microscope. No, an architect is investigating in every point of his way. I am explaining about how the light was entering in the bank in Granada, and I was using the lighting movement to penetrate, to enter in my central space, to produce this miracle. It's a miracle, it's a true miracle. It is produced something that is capable to touch our heart. It's a lesson that I learned and we learn from the history. The history of the architecture is made with many buildings where this type of questions are built. I could speak about more of my buildings, but I think it's much better if we are speaking about the lighting movement, how one of my favorite, but not only my favorite, but a masterpiece in the history of the architecture is the Pantheon in Rome. The Pantheon is like a sundial. The sun is entering and marking a rhythm of the time. When we speak about how the light builds the time, it's like that. It's not only because it's entering in a building and promoting this miracle, but also is marking a rhythm and marking the time. The Pantheon in Rome, when the disk of light of the sun is on the floor and in movement, is changing, is a true sundial. Evidently, if I spoke about, to be precise, the skylight is this round hole on the top. This one is very, very precise. 9 meters of diameter for the oculus and 43 meters of diameter for the sphere, the spherical space. And it's important to control measures. Is a key question in architecture. I always insist in how it is necessary to be precise. When I was writing one day the test that I used for this parliament, that was Architectura, sine luce, nulla architectura est. Architecture without light is no architecture. I invented that Bernini. You remember that Bernini was an architect who used the light in a magistral way. And I said that Bernini created and wrote and designed some tables of light. In the same way that you have architects, we have tables to calculate the frame, to control the gravity. Bernini, I invented, created some tables to calculate the light. And after, in this tale, I said that the Paolo, the son of Bernini, of Lorenzo Bernini, lost the tables of his father, and after so long, Le Corbusier one day discovered and found these tables, the tables by Bernini, in a market in Paris, and it is because Le Corbusier had this capacity to control the light in such a perfect way. And we could continue speaking about light in many ways. To finish, I would like to insist and to underline the importance of the light. And for my students, in this case, my nice students from the NYIT, I would like to underline the importance and how for a house is important the light, and also for a skyscraper is important the light. It's important the light when you design a church, a cathedral. You could say, okay, of course, but it's also very important when you design a pavilion for sports. It's also very important. Architecture is light. Architectura sine luce, nulla architectura est.